Okay, all aboard for today's video. We're going to continue this series. We're on part 4 now of jobs that offer housing. And one of the first things I'll do is bring up this list that I had created in a previous video. This is about jobs that offer housing. And if this is your first time watching me, I usually do videos about people that like to travel around, live in their car, maybe do the RV van life, and talk about some job opportunities that you could take if you happen to be on the road and you're looking for some temporary work, seasonal work. So I hope these videos help you out. Now, as you see on my list here, I've gone over some of these in my other videos. So today we're going to focus on cruise ships. And since this is something I really don't have any experience in, this is going to be an audience participation video. So if any of you have worked on a cruise ship, maybe you can leave some comments, some tips and tricks on how to get a job working for a cruise ship, maybe some warnings of why you might not want to work on a cruise ship. And what I'll do here today is go over some websites that I'm aware of where they're hiring. Since I live in Seattle, Seattle is a port where cruise ships do pick up passengers. So I am very familiar with the cruise ship industry in Seattle, but I do have to say I've never actually worked for one and lived on a cruise ship. There are other boat tours that take place in the Seattle area. I thought maybe I could bring up a map here. If you look at this map I've just pulled up, you can see the Seattle area and the Space Needle, and we can kind of look this a little closer. And you've got the Space Needle, and we're all familiar with that. And so then right here is what they call Puget Sound. There's a lot of boat tours that take tourists around this area, as well as over here you've got Lake Washington to the far right. And if I move around, you go a little bit up north, there's some more bodies of water, and there are ferries, tours, whale watching, and they go all the way up to, let's see, what is this called? The San Juan Islands. You could actually even take a sea airplane that flies from Seattle all the way to the San Juan Islands. And so there's all sorts of whale watching tours and everything that goes around here. I kind of zoom in here a little bit more so you can see all this body of water, that there's tours that take place. And actually over here is Canada, and we have ferries that go all the way from Seattle over here to Canada. And of course, there's jobs hiring for these kind of positions. So first of all, we've got the Princess Cruises. I don't know if you're familiar with this company, Princess Cruises. We've got a couple of things here that we can click on to search for jobs. They do say there's shipboard cruise careers, there's Alaska Yukon careers. So if I was to just randomly click on this, search jobs, we can scroll down. There's some information here on how to apply. Then it looks like you can choose from different countries and locations that you want to work in. And so scroll down there. I think there was another thing here we could look at for the one that had to do with Alaska. Search jobs. And then this seems to be a whole nother website that gives you information of what you can do. Let's see, you earn free cruises after your first season. There's here showing you Alaska, and then over here parts of Canada. It looks like they are hiring for all sorts of positions here: transportation, guest services, food and beverage, administration. There's even more. You could work in their rooms division, maintenance, the rail services. So let's get out of these websites. And next we have Carnival Cruise Lines. And I was kind of scrolling down to see some of the jobs that are available for Carnival Cruise Lines. Many different options, and some of them also include working in the entertainment. So if you happen to have a certain skill like dancing, singing. Let's talk about a couple more jobs that involve working on ships. In particular, in Washington, we do have ferries, and ferries also have a food service galley area. So they hire for people to do cleaning, cleaning the restrooms, working in food service. And so what I wanted to do was pull up two websites to consider. First of all, let's look at this one. This is your Washington State Ferries website, and they are going to list different jobs. And what I do like to point out when I'm doing these videos is some very like entry level jobs that pretty much anyone can do. That way you don't have to feel like, well, I don't know how to drive a ship, so they're not going to hire me. But don't worry, because there are some other jobs on here where you could be an on-call terminal attendant. This is basically just doing customer service, selling tickets. Then you could also be a relief janitor. So obviously we know what goes along with taking out the trash, mopping the floors, that sort of thing. Of course, there's plenty of other jobs available on here. But let's go back. And this one is an actual, I guess you'd call it a third-party vendor that Washington State Ferries uses to hire for their hospitality workers. So this is like working and selling the food. Now, I happen to need to use the ferry a lot here in Washington. And sometimes I get on the ferry and all the food service is shut down. And they always say, oh, we're short staffed, so there's not going to be any food service on today's sailings. So it seems like they must be in need of help. I just don't understand why they always seem to be short staffed. So this website says that they are hiring. This is basically food service, doing cashiering, selling the food, cooking the food, preparing the food, and probably cleaning is involved. And I just wanted to bring up this website to give you an idea of a job that is available if you're interested in working on a ship, because it sounds like a lot of fun. And now we're back to the conclusion of this. And this is where I say, go ahead and leave comments below. If you've had any experience working for any of these companies, I can leave some links below if you are interested in applying for some of these jobs. And I hope you've enjoyed this so far. I can kind of leave you with this list if you think it would be helpful. Feel free to take a screenshot of this list. If you're looking for a job coming up, right now is winter, so you might be looking to work for a ski resort. But keep some of these jobs in mind for, starting in the spring and the summer, as far as working for campgrounds and working for a national park, because they usually are doing their hiring at this time of year before the season starts next year. So just want to say all aboard and hope you have a good day. Thanks.